The war in Ukraine has been raging for many years now, and while international attention has waned and waxed all this time, the fight has continued to become bloodier and more brutal. Casualties on both sides have risen, with more than 10,000 killed so far. The Ukrainian military is currently facing a shortage of anti-tank missiles and other small arms fire munition, which has severely limited their effectiveness against mighty tanks and armored vehicles used by pro-Russian forces in eastern Ukraine. In a bid to tip the scales back in favor of Kyiv and its allies, the U.S. recently announced it will begin sending lethal aid to Ukraine as soon as this year. These weapons will give Ukraine just the edge it needs to win its territorial war against Russian-backed separatists. But before we tell you about those 8 secret weapons, let us tell you how and why this lethal aid by the U.S. is so important for Ukraine at the moment. What so many weapons could mean for Ukraine. A wide range of lethal weapons and equipment from the U.S. would mark a significant shift in the scale of assistance to Ukraine. In the past, the U.S. has provided non-lethal assistance such as medical supplies and counter-explosive equipment since the outbreak of the conflict in 2014. The new assistance, which includes Javelin anti-tank missiles and M109A6 Howitzers, could be a game-changer in the conflict, which has dragged on for almost 3 years and resulted in the deaths of more than 10,000 people. The lethal aid would expand on the defense weapons and equipment that the U.S. has been providing to Ukraine since March, including drones, counter-artillery radar, and thermal imaging sensors. The new assistance would also include a large shipment of anti-tank missiles, a type of weapon that has been in high demand among Ukrainian troops fighting in the eastern part of the country against pro-Russian separatist forces. These will help the Ukrainian troops hold their ground and prevent Russia from taking over their land. Now, here are the 8 secret weapons the U.S. is sending to Ukraine. Number 8. Javelin anti-tank missiles. The Javelin anti-tank missiles are some of the most lethal weapons the U.S. will send to Ukraine in the next few weeks. The powerful missiles would allow Ukrainian forces to significantly damage and destroy Russian tanks from a distance. The Javelin missiles have been in the Pentagon's consideration for months and could possibly be deployed as early as October. The missiles' arrival in Ukraine would mark a significant shift in the scale of assistance the U.S. is providing to the Ukrainian armed forces. Number 7. Howitzers. The United States is planning on sending 90 155mm howitzers to Ukraine to help them fight Russia. These howitzers have a long range of 15 miles. Other than these, the U.S. is also sending its newly developed M777 howitzers. These have a longer range than the 155mm howitzers. The latter ones have a range of 25 miles. These new howitzers will be positioned on the front lines of Ukrainian troops. Number 6. Switchblade Drones. The Switchblade drone, which is a handheld loiter-type explosive device that can be deployed in heavily built-up urban settings. It's designed to be tossed into windows or doorways before detonating, killing people and destroying buildings. The U.S. is sending 700 of these to Ukraine to help it hold its fight against Russian atrocities. Number 5. AntiArmor Systems. The AntiArmor Systems are portable, shoulder-fired rockets that can be used to take out armored vehicles, like the Armored Personnel Carriers, APCs, that the Russian-backed separatists have been using in eastern Ukraine. The anti-armor systems could allow Ukrainian troops to take out enemy vehicles from a distance without putting themselves at risk. 14,000 of these will be sent to the Ukraine by the U.S. Before we further continue our discussion on this topic, if you've enjoyed the video so far, consider subscribing as we frequently upload such informative and educational videos. Let's continue. Number 4. Mi-17 Helicopters. The U.S. is sending 16 Mi-17 helicopters to Ukraine, which the country currently lacks. The Mi-17 transport helicopters are typically used for medevac and logistics, as well as for the transport of military troops and military equipment. Number 3. Stinger Anti-Aircraft Systems. Additionally, the U.S. is sending over 1,400 Stinger anti-aircraft systems to help Ukrainian troops defend themselves against Russian aircraft. While the Stingers would provide a significant boost to the Ukrainian air defense capabilities, the systems are old, having been introduced in the late 1970s. Number 2. Phoenix Ghost Tactical Unmanned Aerial Systems. The Phoenix Ghost Tactical Unmanned Aerial Systems are small, hand-launched drones designed to provide troops with real-time imagery of the battlefield. They can be used to scout out enemy positions and can also be equipped with a wide range of sensors, including infrared cameras and infrared sensors that can detect the heat signatures of enemy troops. The U.S. is sending 121 of those drones to Ukraine. These drones are used not just for surveillance, but also for striking targets. Once it is set, it crashes on the target and explodes on the site. Number 1. Multiple Rocket Launcher. This is a rocket launcher that can be fired from the ground or mounted on a vehicle. It is known as the High Mobility Artillery Rocket System, or HMARS. It can fire air-to-ground rockets with a payload of up to 5,000 pounds. It has a range of 50 miles, which is twice the range of an Mi17 Howitzer. This new assistance could be a game-changer in the Ukrainian-Russian conflict because with just one HMARS, Ukraine can attack Russian weaponry from a safe distance. Because it has quite a long range, Ukrainian troops can use it while still being away from Russia's long-range weapons. Why is Russia invading Ukraine? Since the start of the year, Russian forces have continued to push into Ukrainian territory in two different spots in the eastern part of the country. According to the Pentagon, Russia's goal is to create a land bridge to link the Russian mainland with the Crimean Peninsula, which Russia annexed in 2014. The U.S. says it has not seen any change in Russian offensive operations since the lethal assistance announcement. The U.S. and its allies have condemned Russia's military involvement in Ukraine. Russia has said that it is defending its territory from Ukrainian aggression and claims that it has not sent troops across the border. But reports from Human Rights Watch and the UN suggest that Russia has sent troops across the border and that those troops have committed war crimes. What's the worst-case scenario for the U.S.? The U.S. is facing a very real possibility of hostilities with both China and Russia, the two major global powers. The Chinese are currently in a standoff with the U.S. over trade, Taiwan, and the South China Sea. And although the Russians are currently distracted by the Ukrainians, they view the U.S. as their greatest global enemy. It's likely that the U.S. is going to run into significant problems in the upcoming years. The 8 secret weapons we have shown you today will be sent to Ukraine within the next few weeks, and they will be used to provide artillery support for the Ukrainian troops. This move is seen as a way for the United States to show their support for the Ukrainian government and also send a message to Russia that they are not going to tolerate their aggression. Do you think these weapons will be enough for Ukraine to push back Russia to their borders? Share your views with us in the comments section below. If you found this video informative, like it and share it with your friends. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel and click on the notification bell so that you don't miss any of our amazing videos. Thanks for watching.